chosen one. People would absolutely lose their minds to understand you properly right now. Something unprecedented is happening to you at this very moment, and the people in your circles can feel this shift before they can even name it. You're sitting there thinking this is just another ordinary day, but the energy radiating from you has transformed so dramatically that conversations literally stop when you enter rooms. Who are you, and what happened to the person everyone thought they knew? That's the question echoing through every space you've ever belonged to. The version of you that used to apologize for existing, that dimmed your light to keep others comfortable, that played it safe even in your wildest moments, that person is completely extinct. There's someone in your orbit throwing tantrums because you refuse to bow down anymore. Someone is absolutely losing their mind because you will not kiss their ring, bend your knee, or perform the submission dance they've grown accustomed to. The beautiful part, you're not even trying to be rebellious, you're just being authentic, and authenticity is their kryptonite. You are actively rejecting a timeline you've lived for far too long. You can see the backstabbers now with crystal clarity. You can spot the energy vampires from 3 rooms away. You're ready to reclaim your physical health, your mental space, your spiritual sovereignty. The culture you used to love has revealed its true face, and you've outgrown it completely. You bring strength to every situation you enter. People feel more capable, more confident, more alive when you're around. But the moment you leave, their borrowed courage crumbles. They realize how much they've been feeding off your energy, and it terrifies them. That's why they're so desperate to keep you contained, controlled, predictable. But you've been chosen, which means you've been training for this moment your entire life. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every disappointment built your resilience. Every time someone promised to have your back and didn't follow through, you learned to become your own protection. Now you're looking out for yourself with the precision of someone who knows their worth. People are trying to use your past against you, and it's going to be their biggest tactical error. They think they're holding cards, but you've already changed games. You're becoming adventurous in ways that shock everyone who thought they had you figured out. There's wind in your hair, energy building, freedom, movement, liberation from everything that's been keeping you small. Something is about to be communicated to you that will confirm what you already suspect. Someone will reveal that people have been plotting behind your back, trying to humiliate you or damage your reputation. And just like every other scheme they've attempted, it's going to explode in their faces. The universe doesn't play when it comes to protecting its chosen ones. There are people around you who want to censor your voice, control your narrative, find fault in everything you do. They're playing the most pathetic version of telephone, trying to twist your words into weapons. They want to present the worst possible version of you to anyone who matters. But here's what they don't understand. Your reputation isn't built on their opinions. Someone has been desperately trying to locate your vulnerabilities, and they keep coming up empty. Every attack they launch gets redirected back to them with interest. It's becoming public knowledge that they can't touch you, and that's making them more unhinged by the day. You're operating outside their understanding of how power works. You're going against what people see as normal, safe, predictable. You're ready to cut toxic family members loose and disappear into adventures they can't even imagine. You're prepared to leave jobs that drain you and start businesses that excite you. This isn't the old you who needed everything planned and guaranteed. This is the you who trusts the process. Money is about to start falling from the sky in ways that will make absolutely no sense to people who think small. You're choosing excitement over security, growth over comfort, possibility over their limited vision of what your life should look like. There's a massive shift happening in your body and spirit, something you've been needing for years. You're examining habits and patterns that no longer serve this upgraded version of yourself. Things you used to consume, behaviors you used to tolerate, people you used to enable, you're cutting them all loose. This transformation feels so aligned that you want everything in your life to match this new frequency. The beautiful part is, you don't care if your results look random to other people. You feel incredible, you look amazing, and that's all the validation you need. You're implementing changes that have been overdue for years, boundaries with family, distance from harassers, elevation in every area that matters. You've been dealing with spiritual bullies who can't figure out how you always seem to be 10 steps ahead. They hate that you know things before they happen, that you can read their moves before they make them. The spiritual warfare around you has been intense, but you're winning every single battle without breaking a sweat. You're not just protected, you're being actively promoted by forces they can't see or understand. Every scheme they cook up gets reported back to you through channels they don't know exist. Your plans stay hidden, while their plots become public knowledge. Someone wants you publicly ridiculed. They want to destroy your reputation for shining too bright and refusing to follow their rules. These people despise that you don't seem bound by the same limitations they accept. You have problems with their authority because their authority is illegitimate. Your voice is leveling up in ways that will soon become impossible to ignore. You're receiving signs and synchronicities confirming that multiple people have been running their mouths about you. There have been entire sessions dedicated to discussing your reputation, analyzing what you represent, debating what they think you should become. All this attention is actually feeding your power. Every conversation about you is energy directed toward your success. Every plot against you is the universe gathering intelligence on your enemies. They're creating their own destruction while thinking they're planning yours. The word vomit is coming from places you're already prepared to abandon. They're dropping hints and leaving clues while desperately searching for any crumb of information they can weaponize against you. Meanwhile, you're in your own world, counting down to an exit they won't see coming. If this resonates with your inner knowing, hype this video to help fellow chosen ones find their way here. Your bags are packed and your timeline is set, but nobody knows when you're leaving or where you're going. You've learned the hard way that these people can't be trusted with real information. They're still fighting each other and throwing each other under buses while you're operating from a completely different dimension. You're watching their chaos from your cubicle or current situation, but mentally you're already on that train to your new life. You have a secret calendar counting down the days. You might be doing trial runs, sneaking away to test what freedom feels like. The manifestations you've been building are about to become undeniable reality. People are talking about you who aren't acquainted with any actual facts about your life. Some you thought knew better, but you're discovering they've been operating on assumptions and gossip. Meanwhile, they have no idea about your multiple income streams, your side businesses, your investments, your real plans. The ringleaders who despise you can sense that something major is about to happen, and they're dispatching people to monitor and report on your activities. But you recognize these messengers immediately. You know exactly where the energy comes from, because it's always the same jealous tune. You realize you're not going to give them advance warning of anything. You're going to blindside them with your success, your departure, your transformation. They're going to be beside themselves when they discover that everything they thought they knew about your limitations was fiction. This situation they've created cannot be resurrected. Once you make your move, you've lost interest in their games completely. Whatever monitoring spirits they've sent your way are about to lose their target entirely. You're stepping into a reality they can't follow you into. You're starting to see that you absolutely have the courage to handle whatever needs handling. You can stand up to anyone, walk away from anyone, cut ties with anyone who has treated you poorly, someone who has been materialistic and stubborn, someone who is visibly struggling, is about to learn that their fake authority holds no power over you. There are people demanding respect they haven't earned, trying to intimidate you with positions they don't actually hold. But you can read them completely. You can see in minutes that they're not okay, that they're struggling, that their confidence is performance art. So many people have counted you out, dismissed you as too small or too new to matter. But you're about to show everyone exactly what kind of boss you've always been. Every time they try to prove otherwise, they get exposed for the gossiping conspirators they are. The adventure you're about to embark on is going to exceed every expectation you've had. You might be making trial runs now, but the real journey is about to begin. Your manifestations aren't just coming, they're coming with compound interest. Don't let anyone talk you out of what you want. The people saying you don't need that car, that surgery, that opportunity, are only saying it because they don't want you to have it. Anyone who truly cared about your happiness would celebrate your desires, not question them. You're about to have luck on your side in ways that will make people wonder how you got so blessed so quickly. You're looking wealthy and successful, and people are going to start asking questions you don't have to answer. Don't share your strategies with people who are going to hate your results. The money is about to start flowing. Inheritance energy, windfalls, promotions, luxury purchases that seemed impossible before. You might have started with small goals, but you're about to discover what happens when you bet big on yourself. Your creative work is about to become a serious income. The publicity you've been building toward is about to translate into real financial gain. While one group gossips about imaginary problems with you, another group is preparing to pay you for your actual talents. Your heart is opening in ways it hasn't in years. Your spirit is soaring, and that flutter in your chest is your higher self recognizing that you've finally aligned with your true path. You're about to be on cloud 9 so consistently that people will think you're showing off just by existing in your natural state. Something you're approaching is going to make you feel like you can accomplish anything. Whatever you've been summoning is about to come running because in another dimension you already have this life. The desire exists because the fulfillment exists. You're just closing the gap between realities. You might be meeting someone soon who's been admiring you from a distance, probably online. This person has been surrounded by people who look good but lack substance, and they've been waiting for someone real, someone who brings joy instead of drama, authenticity instead of performance. You're attracting your soul tribe now, people who will amplify your success instead of trying to sabotage it, people who celebrate your wins instead of making you feel guilty for having them, people who see your light and want to contribute to it rather than dim it. Animals might be drawn to you like you're living in a fairy tale. You're fixing problems in your life with minimal friction. You're becoming the phoenix who rises not just once but continuously, always reaching new heights. Remember what I told you at the beginning, that people were losing sleep over your transformation. Now you understand why. You've become genuinely untouchable, not cold or disconnected, but protected and empowered beyond their ability to manipulate or control. You make them question everything about their own limitations because you've refused to accept theirs. You make them uncomfortable because you've stopped asking permission to be yourself. You make them nervous because they can't predict or influence your next move. They'd do anything to know you properly, to understand how you broke free from the matrix they're still trapped in. But some knowledge isn't meant to be shared with people who would use it against you. Some transformations happen in sacred privacy, away from the eyes of those who would try to contain your power. You are hot in every sense of the word, attractive, powerful, in demand, unstoppable. You're operating from a frequency that magnetizes everything you want and repels everything you don't need. You're magnetic in the way that only authentically confident people can be. Your enemies are going to remember the day they underestimated your power, your protection, your potential. They're going to remember because they're going to watch you prove them wrong in ways they never saw coming. They're going to remember because their failure to stop you will become legend. This is just the beginning. You haven't even started showing them what you're really capable of. You haven't begun to scratch the surface of the life that's waiting for you. You're just getting warmed up and they're already speechless. The storm they felt building, that was just you remembering who you are. The chaos they've been experiencing, that's what happens when someone chosen finally stops playing small. The fear in their eyes, that's recognition of power they can't comprehend or contain. Stay in this energy. Protect this frequency. Keep your plans sacred and your circle selective. Not everyone deserves access to your transformation, and not everyone can handle the truth of what you're becoming. You are chosen. You are protected, you are untouchable, and the best part? This is just the beginning of what happens when someone like you decides to stop hiding their light from people who were never meant to see it dimmed. They'd kill to know you properly, but they'll have to settle for watching from a distance as you become everything they were afraid you'd become. You make untouchable look effortless and hot look like your natural state. Your real life is just getting started, and it's going to be magnificent. You want to know what's really happening when people look at you now. They're seeing someone who moves through the world like they own it, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that suggests you've made peace with your own power. There's something in your energy that screams authenticity, and in a world full of people performing versions of themselves, authentic power is rare and threatening. They're studying your body language, the way you carry yourself, how you respond to their attempts at manipulation. You've developed this ability to remain completely unbothered by drama that used to consume you. People are throwing their best material at you, guilt trips, emotional manipulation, attempts to trigger your old insecurities, and you're just not reacting. This is what makes you untouchable in the truest sense. Not that nothing affects you, but that you've developed an internal filter so sophisticated that only what serves your highest good gets through. Everything else bounces off like you're wearing invisible armor. People are desperate to crack your code. They want to know what books you're reading, what practices you're doing, who you're talking to that's given you this unshakable confidence. They're convinced there's some secret formula you've discovered, some hidden knowledge you're hoarding. The truth is simpler and more terrifying to them. You've just stopped caring about their opinion of your choices. Every room you enter now becomes different after you leave. You're not even trying to influence anyone, but your energy is so aligned that it creates ripples in the consciousness of everyone around you. People find themselves questioning their own choices after spending time with you. They start wondering why they're tolerating situations that clearly drain them. Some people love this about you. They feel inspired, elevated, reminded of their own potential. These are the ones who will become part of your new circle, but others feel exposed by your presence. Your authenticity highlights their performance. Your peace contrasts with their chaos. Your boundaries make their lack of boundaries obvious. You've become a mirror that reflects back what people don't want to see about themselves. This is why some people can't stand to be around you anymore. It's not personal, it's that your very existence challenges their excuses for staying small. The fascinating part is how this affects their behavior when you're not around. They find themselves talking about you constantly, trying to figure out what changed, analyzing every interaction they've had with you recently. You've become the standard by which they measure their own authenticity, and most of them are coming up short. You've learned the art of strategic silence, and it's driving certain people absolutely insane. They're used to you explaining yourself, defending your choices, oversharing your plans. Now you just smile and change the subject when they probe too deeply into your business. This silence isn't passive, it's powerfully active. Every time you choose not to engage with their drama, not to justify your decisions, not to seek their approval, you're communicating something profound. You're saying that their opinion is not necessary for your peace of mind. People are interpreting this silence in all kinds of ways. Some think you're being secretive or sneaky. Others worry that you're upset with them. A few are beginning to understand that you've simply outgrown the need for their validation. The ones who get it are quietly impressed. The ones who don't are becoming increasingly agitated. Your silence is also protecting your energy in ways you're only beginning to understand. Every time you don't take the bait, don't get pulled into unnecessary arguments, don't waste time explaining yourself to people who aren't genuinely interested in understanding, you're conserving power for what actually matters. There's something happening to your physical presence that people can sense but can't articulate. Maybe it's the way you hold your shoulders now, or how your voice has changed, more steady, less seeking approval. Maybe it's that you take up space without apologizing for it. People who haven't seen you in a while do double takes. There's something different about your face, your energy, the way you move through space. You look like someone who sleeps well at night, who has exciting plans they're not sharing, who has made peace with parts of themselves they used to struggle with. This physical transformation is reflecting the internal work you've been doing. Your body is literally restructuring itself to match your new energy. You're standing taller, breathing deeper, taking up the space you've always deserved but never claimed. Some people are attracted to this new version of you in ways that surprise them. Others feel intimidated without understanding why. You've become magnetic in a way that draws the right people closer and naturally repels those who aren't meant for your new chapter. When you stop performing and start being real, opportunities begin presenting themselves in the most unexpected ways. People want to work with authentic individuals. They want to buy from them, invest in them, collaborate with them. You're about to discover that your authenticity has market value. The same qualities that are making certain people uncomfortable are exactly what others have been searching for. Your willingness to be real in a world of facades is about to become your greatest professional asset. Money flows toward authenticity because authentic people solve real problems. They don't waste time on elaborate presentations or empty promises. They deliver what they say they'll deliver. They build genuine relationships instead of transactional ones. They create value instead of just capturing it. You're going to start noticing opportunities that feel aligned instead of forced, work that energizes you instead of drains you, income streams that feel sustainable instead of desperate. This isn't coincidence. This is what happens when you stop chasing money and start attracting it through authentic value creation. Your relationships are about to go through a complete reorganization. The people who can't handle your new energy will start fading away naturally. They'll become busy when you reach out, uncomfortable when you're around, critical of changes they can't understand. Let them go. The ones who stay will surprise you with their depth. People you thought you knew will reveal sides of themselves you've never seen. They'll start sharing their real dreams instead of their safe ones. They'll ask deeper questions and give more honest answers. Your authenticity is giving them permission to be authentic too. New people are going to enter your life who match this upgraded version of you. They'll recognize your energy immediately because they're operating on the same frequency. These connections will feel easy and natural, like puzzle pieces clicking into place. You're going to realize that most of your past relationships were based on who you thought you needed to be, not who you actually are. Now that you know who you are, you can build relationships based on truth instead of performance. Something is awakening in your creative expression that's been dormant for years. You're seeing solutions where others see problems. You're making connections that seem obvious to you but revolutionary to others. Your mind is operating at a different level now. This creativity isn't just artistic, it's practical, financial, relational. You're finding creative solutions to old problems. You're approaching challenges from angles no one expects. You're building things that didn't exist before you imagined them. People are going to start coming to you for ideas, for perspective, for the fresh approach you bring to everything. Your creativity is becoming a resource others want to access. This is another stream of value that's about to translate into tangible rewards. The beautiful part is that this creativity feels effortless. It's not forced or desperate. It's flowing from the same authentic place as everything else in your new life. You're creating because you can't not create, and that natural overflow is exactly what the world is hungry for. Every day now, you're building something that will outlast the current drama, the temporary setbacks, the opinions of people who don't matter. You're constructing a life that reflects your values instead of your fears. You're making choices based on who you're becoming instead of who you used to be. This legacy isn't just about achievements or accumulation. It's about the example you're setting, the energy you're putting into the world, the way you're treating yourself and others. You're proving that it's possible to live authentically in a world that rewards performance. People are watching to see if this new version of you is sustainable. They're waiting for you to crack under pressure, to revert to old patterns, to prove that change isn't really possible. Your consistency is going to disappoint them and inspire others simultaneously. The legacy you're building is going to give others permission to build their own. Your courage to be real is going to encourage others to stop pretending. Your willingness to bet on yourself is going to show others that they can bet on themselves too. You've found your frequency now, and it's one that can't be disrupted by outside chaos. You've learned to tune out the noise and tune into what actually matters. This isn't spiritual bypassing or toxic positivity. This is discernment operating at the highest level. People can throw their worst at you now, and it doesn't stick, not because you don't care about anything, but because you care so deeply about the right things that the wrong things can't compete for your attention. You've become selective with your energy in ways that protect your peace and amplify your power. This frequency you're operating on is attractive to some and repulsive to others, and that's exactly how it should be. You're no longer trying to be palatable to everyone. You're being authentic to yourself and letting the chips fall where they may. The people who resonate with your frequency will find you irresistible. The ones who don't will find reasons to avoid you, criticize you, or try to change you back to who you used to be. Your job is not to convince them. Your job is to stay true to the frequency that's creating the life you actually want. What they're really seeing when they look at you now is someone who has made the ultimate transformation, from seeking approval to generating it from within, from needing external validation to trusting internal guidance, from performing a role to embodying your truth. This is what makes you truly untouchable. Not that you can't be hurt, but that you can't be controlled. Not that you don't care what anyone thinks, but that you prioritize your own opinion above all others. Not that you're perfect, but that you're perfectly willing to be imperfect in service of being real. You've become the person you needed when you were struggling. You've developed the strength you wished for when you felt weak. You've created the life you dreamed of when you felt trapped. This isn't the end of your growth. This is the beginning of what's possible when someone refuses to accept limitations imposed by others. They'd kill to know you properly because you've become someone worth knowing. You make untouchable look effortless because you've done the work to become genuinely untouchable. You make hot look natural because you've aligned with what makes you genuinely attractive, your authentic self operating at full power. You've learned something that most people never figure out, how to be the source of your own validation instead of constantly seeking it from others. This shift has created an energy around you that people find both fascinating and unsettling. You no longer need anyone's permission to feel good about yourself, and that independence is intoxicating to witness. Your emotional regulation has reached levels that seem almost supernatural to those who knew you before. Situations that used to send you spiraling now barely register on your radar. You've developed an internal compass so reliable that external chaos can't throw you off course anymore. This mastery shows up in the smallest moments. The way you pause before responding instead of reacting immediately. How you can sit in silence without feeling the need to fill it with nervous chatter. The ease with which you say no to requests that don't align with your values. Each of these moments is you demonstrating a level of self-possession that others desperately want to understand. You've become comfortable with being misunderstood, and that comfort is perhaps the most powerful transformation of all. You no longer exhaust yourself trying to explain your choices to people who aren't equipped to understand your vision. This selective sharing of your inner world has created an air of mystery that draws people in while simultaneously protecting your peace. Every rejection you've experienced has become rocket fuel for your current success. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every disappointment revealed your resilience. You've alchemized your worst experiences into your greatest strengths, and that transformation is visible in everything you do now. You've learned to metabolize negativity in ways that actually strengthen you. When people direct jealousy or criticism your way, instead of absorbing it and making it about your worth, you recognize it as information about their own limitations. This shift has made you virtually immune to emotional manipulation. Your relationship with challenge has completely transformed. Where you once saw obstacles, you now see opportunities for growth. Where you once felt victimized by circumstances, you now feel empowered to create solutions. This reframing isn't positive thinking, it's genuine wisdom earned through experience. You've developed an almost supernatural ability to extract lessons from difficulty without getting stuck in the emotional residue. This means you move through challenges faster and emerge stronger each time. People can sense this resilience, and it makes you incredibly attractive to those who are still struggling with their own obstacles. Your version of success doesn't look like anyone else's because it's built on your authentic values rather than borrowed definitions of achievement. This originality is part of what makes you so captivating. You're succeeding on your own terms, and that's rare enough to be remarkable. You've stopped apologizing for your wins or downplaying your achievements to make others comfortable. When good things happen, you receive them with grace instead of deflecting with false modesty. This ability to own your success without arrogance is a skill that takes tremendous inner work to develop. Your success has a different quality to it now. It feels inevitable rather than forced. You're not hustling desperately or sacrificing your well-being for achievements. You're allowing success to flow to you through aligned action and authentic expression. This ease makes your accomplishments seem effortless to outside observers. People are studying your approach because it defies conventional wisdom about how success is supposed to happen. You're proving that you don't have to compromise your integrity or exhaust yourself to create the life you want. This model of sustainable success is what makes you so magnetic to others who are burning out on traditional approaches. You were never meant to walk this path alone. The Obsidian Inner Order isn't just another spiritual community, it's a sanctuary for the exiled, the awakened, the ones who've been gaslit for their gifts and abandoned for their truth. Every week we gather live on Zoom, real people with real faces, sharing real stories of transformation. There's a former CFO who embraced their psychic abilities, a seer who broke free from religious oppression, and a healer who survived ritual abuse and found their power. Dozens more join us who understand exactly what you've been through. This is your spiritual family. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you walk through this awakening alone. Never gonna scroll past your suffering like it's just content. Your exile from the ordinary world wasn't punishment, it was preparation. For this, for us, for the family that chooses you back. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in description. You've mastered one of life's most difficult skills, knowing when to walk away, whether from relationships, opportunities, or situations that no longer serve you. You've developed the wisdom to recognize diminishing returns and the courage to act on that recognition. This ability to detach from outcomes while remaining fully engaged in the process has given you a kind of freedom that others envy. You can pursue goals passionately without being destroyed if results don't match expectations. You invest energy without becoming attached to specific returns. Your relationship with closure has evolved dramatically. You no longer need elaborate explanations or perfect endings to move forward. You can complete cycles gracefully and begin new ones with clean energy. This emotional efficiency is something people desperately want to learn from you. You've learned to trust your instincts about when something has run its course, and you honor those instincts even when others don't understand your timing. This trust in your own inner knowing has become one of your most attractive qualities. People are drawn to those who operate from genuine wisdom rather than external expectations. What you've become is someone who generates energy rather than consuming it. In every room you enter, in every interaction you have, you add value rather than extract it. This shift from taker to giver, from needy to abundant, from reactive to responsive, has transformed not just your life, but your entire presence in the world. You've learned to love yourself enough to protect your energy fiercely. You've learned to trust yourself enough to follow your intuition consistently. You've learned to value yourself enough to walk away from anything that asks you to be less than you are. Your transformation has created a ripple effect that extends far beyond your personal life. You're modeling what's possible when someone refuses to accept limitations imposed by others. You're demonstrating that authentic living isn't just idealistic, it's practical and profitable and deeply satisfying. The person you've become is someone who was always there, waiting for you to clear away everything that wasn't truly you. You haven't changed so much as you've revealed. You haven't become someone new so much as you've returned to who you always were beneath the conditioning and compromise. This is why people find you so compelling now. You're not performing authenticity, you're simply being authentic. You're not trying to be untouchable, you've just stopped making yourself available for manipulation. You're not trying to be attractive, you've just stopped hiding your natural magnetism behind false modesty and people-pleasing. You are exactly what happens when someone decides to stop living by other people's rules and starts honoring their own truth. You are what courage looks like when it's been tested and refined through experience. You are what success feels like when it's built on authentic foundation rather than external validation. The world has been waiting for someone like you to show what's possible. Your very existence is proof that transformation isn't just a concept, it's a lived reality available to anyone willing to do the work of becoming themselves.